Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. We are at Dundas Street and Jane Street West, and I'm heading northbound on Jane. It is about 2:45 in the afternoon, and it is like +6, like really nice. That is looking west on Dundas. I've been in Toronto for it will be 33 years, January 12th, and I have never, ever been to this neck of the woods, Jane and Dundas. I probably have gone down Dundas to go west, but I don't ever recall needing to go down Jane or up Jane for any reason. So this area, this whole stretch that I'm walking today is new to me. And I thought I'd take you guys along. I am actually going to visit a friend. And I thought, well, being that I don't know this area very well, let me leave a little bit early and do a little bit of recording. Not sure if I mentioned, it is Thursday, the 29th of December. I hope everyone is doing well. It's good to be back recording. I did mention in my last video, which was posted a couple of days ago, that I now have a new camera, and it is a third of the size of my gimbal and GoPro combined. I can just slip this in my pocket. It's like fabulous. Okay, where are we here? We're at St. Clair. That's looking St. Clair East. And here we are looking St. Clair West. I don't think I've been this far down St. Clair. Yeah, this is very foreign to me. You can see, I'm gonna tilt the camera up. Please tilt. No, that's going down. Let's do up. Oh no, that's zooming. Let's get it straight here. It's overcast today, but it's a beautiful, balmy winter's day here in Toronto. I'm really enjoying being out. I'm so happy that it is balmy. But you know, it is Christmas, or it is winter in Toronto, so should be getting cold soon. This is the number 35 bus, Jane to Jane Station. So it looks like it's coming from the north going south. Oh, sorry about that, folks. I'm sort of playing a little bit with the zoom. I'm gonna get confused with the I wanted to play with the tilt, but I was gonna get confused with the zoom. Sorry about that. I'm on the west side of Jane, heading north. So I thought about, because I live in the Yonge Eglinton Davisville neighborhood, between Eglinton and Davisville, just off of Yonge, and I thought, well, maybe I'll walk here today because it is so beautiful out. And then according to Dr. Google Maps, it would take me about, I think, did it say an hour and a half to 2 hours to get here? And I thought that's fine, maybe in a summer's day, but not when it gets dark so early. And I wouldn't be comfortable taking the TTC because then I have to figure out where the bus stop is, yada yada. So I drove and I parked near to where this video will conclude. So I decided not to walk here. Drove. And besides, my sister-in-law is coming in from Gananoque neighborhood, which is east of Toronto. It's about a 3-hour drive in the Thousand Islands. And she is coming to stay with us for a couple of nights, so it'll be good to see her. We haven't seen her since the summer. So David is taking care of dinner because I will be dining with friends this evening. I'm going against the red. Don't tell anyone. So I've left a quiche for him that he needs to put in the oven. And I have plenty of dessert. I made some lemon squares and some cookies. And then tomorrow night, we're having, of course, David's sister, Jennifer, and David's nephew, hopefully, and son coming over for dinner tomorrow night. So it'll be a nice family event. Looking forward to that. So David's nephew lives in California, and he is up here for Christmas. And it'll be so good to see him. Spend some time, find out what's new. He recently graduated university. Got to find out whether he's working or what the deal is. If he's going back to school, find out what's cooking. Get all the latest and greatest. So I read, again, I read in Dr. Google that this neighborhood of Jane and Eglinton's a bit further north than where I am right now. But this neighborhood is, or at least was, one of the highest density neighborhoods, population-wise, in the city. Now, if we look here, this is Marie Baldwin Park, and it looks like, I don't know if the camera, let me try and zoom. Let's zoom here. Yeah, so that looks like that could be community gardens down there. And there's this whole walkway. Probably great for cycling through as well. But you can also see there are power lines here. So yeah, it said that in the early 60s, or in the 60s, this neighborhood, Jane and Eglinton neighborhood, which is sort of around the Mount Dennis area of Toronto, exploded in population in the 60s. So they quoted a figure. It was initially at about 1,300 residents, and within the decade of the 60s, expanded to 33,000. So from 1,300 to 33,000 within a decade is pretty significant. Now, that was by standards maybe back in the day. Again, I'm going to sneak across against the light. But that's a lot, I would think. But, on that note, I'd be curious to find out how quickly neighborhoods expand within any given decade. So the neighborhood that I live in, as I mentioned, I live between Eglinton and Davisville, just off of Yonge. And that neighborhood, my neighborhood, has seen a lot of condo development. So not far from where I live, they were sort of dilapidated, but there was housing, actual houses, like single family dwellings, actual houses with back and front yard and garage, that kind of thing. There was like a whole block that was demolished probably, I would say maybe 15 years ago now, and there's a big condo development there now. Yeah, it does look much more pleasing to the eye, and it's a modern building. It looks really, really nice compared to the houses that were pretty unkept. But then Minto Towers went in, and Minto Towers is just south of Eglinton on the east side of Yonge. What used to be where those condo towers are now. I think the highest tower is 50 stories or 40 stories. What used to be there was a government office. I think it was a federal government office. And I think it was about maybe 10 stories. And then beside that, to the north of that building, was like a little park. And then some low-standing buildings. And so that was all gutted to make way for the Minto Towers. And when did they come into play? Probably 10 years ago? Maybe just a little over 10 years ago. And then across the street, actually just north, right on the corner, on the northeast corner of Eglinton and Yonge, used to be TD Bank. There still is a TD Bank there now, but it was just a low-rise. I think it had a couple of stories, and that was all taken away for a big, huge condo development there. And it looks really tall too. It's probably 50 stories as well. Now I'm at Haney Avenue. Here is Hanley Park. Oh, let's make this walk. And there is a couple of developments going on. They took down a whole block. They only took down part of the block, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Condos are still being developed. Used to be Sammy's Garage. It was a place to take your cars for oil changes and getting repairs and all that kind of thing. And that was on the corner. It was on the, what was it? It was on the southwest corner of, I think it's Hillsdale and Yonge. And so there is a condo development being built now. And right beside it were actual apartment buildings. I think there was only like a 2 or 3 story apartment building with like a convenience store on the corner on the main floor, and a hair salon and a restaurant. Those were recently taken down this past summer, or at least vacated this past summer of 2022. And the whole back end of that building is all torn down. They've maintained the facade. So the front section that faces Yonge Street still looks the same, but the back is all torn down. So, and I think that building unit's supposed to be, that condo unit's supposed to be about 8 stories, I think. They look expensive, according to the designs. And I think we received not that long ago a flyer, you know, that you get regularly, real estate agent flyers. Condos starting at $1.8 million. Now, the beauty and part of the probably price tag, that neighborhood is really walkable. It's a very walkable area. Yonge and Eglinton, Yonge and Davisville. I think the walking score is over 90. So everything, you know, and I live in that neighborhood, so I don't need to drive. Even when I go to Costco, I walk, and David picks me up and takes the groceries home. But everything I need is there. There's the Yonge and Eglinton Center, so if you want clothes or groceries, or, you know, you need glasses or shoes, There are furniture stores, all kinds of doctors and dentists. Everything is so convenient in that neighborhood. Subway is right there, super convenient. Here's a 939 Express bus, 939 Jane Express. Now, as we're walking, I'm not sure if you noticed, I probably should have pointed out, but speaking of walkability score, this neighborhood is about a 60. It scores around the 60 mark for walkability. Because where I came from, there wasn't a lot on Jane as far as commercial. But here's a nice mall with a food store and pizza. Tim Hortons, of course, that automatically, as far as I'm concerned, heightens the walkability score if you go to Tim Hortons. So, yeah, it was interesting to walk down this way. Well, there's a feeding frenzy of pigeons here. Yeah, so the neighborhood is changing, and I think changing rapidly. The neighborhood that I live in between Davisville and Eglinton, lots of changes. Okay, where are we here? Oh, this is Black Creek. Okay, we are at Black Creek Boulevard. I'm going to conclude here, folks. So further north, if I was to keep walking, I would hit Eglinton. But when I came down Jane, I turned left off of Eglinton to come down Jane. And there's just on either side of Jane, it's just green space and traffic. So a little boring maybe. Anyhow, I decided not to walk from Eglinton. I thought I would walk to Dundas, turn around, and record back to this location. Anyhow, folks, thank you very much for joining me. I'm so happy to be back. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing and sharing with your friends. So happy you're with me. Have a wonderful rest of the day. This is Boomer Girl Walking, signing off.